The following is a Papi Chulo Radio original program. The views and opinions expressed in the commentaries and/or interviews in the following program are solely those of the individuals and are not views of Papi Chulo Radio, its parent, affiliate, or subsidiary companies.
We lived in the murder house. We escaped the asylum. We protected the coven. We attended the freak show. We checked into the hotel. We had a Roanoke nightmare. And we joined the cult. Welcome to the season finale of Are You Afraid Cult, the unofficial American Horror Story cult podcast, a PapiChuloRadio.com original series, Papi Chulo Radio, pop culture on demand. Today is Wednesday, November 15th, 2017, and I'm your host, Jeffrey Aruz. During this podcast, we're going to recap, review, and dissect the latest episode of the FX series, American Horror Story Cult. Please welcome my co-hosts to our season finale broadcast, Madison Fitzpatrick.
Hello, everybody.
Mark Estes.
Hello.
And Priscilla Rocha.
Hey, everybody.
All right, let's get into it. Let's jump into our recap of Season 7, Episode 11, which was titled Great Again and aired November 14th, 2017. Here's the official synopsis of the episode. The battle of the sexes comes to a bloody conclusion as Allie and Beverly set out to stop Kai once and for all. I want to get everyone's initial reaction to the episode. Let's start off with Maddie Fitz.
At first, I was like, oh my god, why is he in prison? And then
Yes,
I'm like, oh.
she messaged me on Facebook exactly that. I was not watching the episode yet, I'm just saying. Hashtag spoilers.
I was so mad because he's like, oh yeah, it's coming on in 10 minutes. I'm like, okay. So I started watching it and then I was like messaging him and then he's like, spoilers. I'm like, oh, snap. Sorry.
It's okay. I was podcasting, but continue on, Madison.
So I thought it was pretty good. Like, it was one of the better episodes, but I wasn't really thrilled with it. I thought it could have been a better season finale, but it was still good.
Priscilla, what about you?
I thought it was a strong season finale, except it could have been stronger. Like, there are bits where, like, I see it, like, where, like, it has its, like, kind of, like, kitschy lines, like, what's worse, a nasty woman, and then you see the gunshot, and you're like, wow, that's, like, freaking amazing, like, even though it's kind of gimmicky, like, it's still, like, it's very Ryan Murphy. I like it. I like, why end it, like, with the witchy theme, like, like,
or is it a witchy theme?
I don't know, like that's what I felt like. I felt like it ended with a little bit of a slump, considering like the journey that we went throughout this entire season.
Okay, interesting. We'll get into what the ending means a whole lot later. But Mark, what did you think? Your initial reaction to the episode, Great Again.
I was like, Madison. I was like, how the fuck did he get in jail? And I was kind of scared they were going to gloss over all that, or that they were going to, like, went from commercial break leading up to that point, like the episode was going to end, or the season was going to end with him getting out of jail and headed towards Allie. But thankfully, it didn't do all of that. It just gave you a quick and concise way of explaining, okay, this is how he got to jail. Now back to a regular scheduled program. You know what I'm saying? So, and even though they took, like 10, 15 minutes explaining that, they still had a lot to work with. And I loved it, but after Priscilla pretty much kind of like what she just said about how it ended, that was the perfect way of describing it. It was just felt like a like okay, but it's like all this build up and no big payoff. But it was a good payoff, but at the same time, it just felt like that was an ambiguous ass ending. Like we don't know. It just felt like it ended abruptly, and I was waiting for from the commercial break to come back for them to show like a T or like a stinger or like like kind of like a Marvel type
After
thing,
credits.
an after credits type thing, to have everybody on pins and needles about next season and whatnot. But we didn't get there. But I felt like it capped off the season really well. And after mulling about it all day and talking to a few people and reading a couple reviews, there were a few things that kind of like etched their way up into my consciousness to be like, okay, I did have a problem there. But overall, it was a strong finale.
All right. I agree with all of you. I thought it was a decent episode. It left me wanting more, so I completely understand that sense from all of you. And I agree, like when the final scene ended, I was like fast forwarding on my DVR, and I was like, okay, there's gonna be more. There's gonna be more. And no, there's just like an extended promo for Gianni Versace, which I'm like, really? There's nothing else? So I was left wanting more. I loved everything that led up to it, though. I thought all of our characters got some really great moments, but the season ended. It didn't end on a cliffhanger, but it felt like it ended on a cliffhanger. Like I'm expecting another episode next week, but we're not getting another episode next week. So
Precisely.
so that's the only thing that was kind of disappointing. It did really feel like they closed the Kai chapter, but unfortunately they opened up another chapter that I'm really interested in seeing, and it's a shame that they didn't do what they've done in other seasons where they kind of wrap the season up in the penultimate episode and then the season finale is kind of an extended epilogue. I kind of wish we would have gotten something like that because they really left us curious about what's to come. And I don't know. I mean, Ryan Murphy has sort of toyed with the idea in the past of like a sequel season. In particular, he mentioned that he would love for a future season to be sort of like a Murder House Coven continuation. So maybe at some point we'll get a continuation of this story because the door was definitely left wide open and the ending was left for interpretation for some people. So we'll get into that. But before we get into a thorough recap of the latest episode of American Horror Story Cult, here's our announcer with a few special announcements.
Follow Poppy Chula Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Poppy Chula Radio. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@poppychularadio.com. Are you interested in joining the Poppy Chula Radio team as an on-air personality? Email talent@poppychularadio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Poppy Chula Radio programs by visiting poppychularadio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through Apple Podcasts and Google Play. Just search for Are You Afraid? Cult, and subscribe.
Thanks, announcer. All right, let's get into it. Let's start off at the beginning. We'll go in the order of the episode as opposed to going in proper timeline order. We start off in the year 2018. We're at the Robert Gordon Maximum Security Prison in Jackson, Mississippi, and Kai is an inmate. And we see him doing the whole Pinky Power ritual with one of the guards. We later find out that her name is Gloria Whitmore. And she mentions that she hates the warden. And they end up talking a little bit about authority and her hatred of authority. And then he convinces her to show him her tits. And they're interrupted. by some fellow inmates who take him away to the bathroom, and they start beating him up, and they talk about him disrupting the natural order of the prison. You know, the blacks stay with the blacks, the Latinos with the Latinos, the skinheads with the skinheads, and he, being Kai, is fucking it all up. So Kai ends up saying something to piss off one of the guys, and he actually gets the upper hand on him a little bit, and he explains that his cohort named Crotchy or nicknamed Crotchy, whatever, is a follower of Kai, and Kai ends up stabbing this guy. And then Kai explains to Crotchy that he must be a martyr for the cause and that whole type of thing, because it's going to be kind of weird, you know, if this one guy is dead but Crotchy isn't dead. And so Kai ends up killing him, and Kai ends up hallucinating or imagining, not hallucinating, he ends up imagining Charles Manson there, the Charles Manson that looks like Kai, and Charles Manson is egging him on to continue on with the rest of the plan. So later on, in the prison yard, a prisoner by the name of Trevor Geary approaches Kai, and basically Trevor's like, you know, I'm not going to be able to make it in here. I keep on getting my ass kicked. I want to join your group. And so they do the pinky power thing, and Kai calls Trevor a coward for killing a child and dropping the child's body into a reservoir. And Kai does end up taking him on a probationary basis after Trevor swears loyalty. And Trevor's like, how did you get in here? You know, what happened? Like, how can someone like you be in here? And he says that he's in there because he got sold out by a rat. And we'll pause right here. Kai in prison in the year 2018. We already know how Madison thought, because she messaged me about it on Facebook. So let's start off with Priscilla, who kept me spoiler-free.
I was so happy. Like, at first I was exactly like Madison, just starting it, just being like, did I miss an episode? Did I miss, like, some, like, part of the episode? Did I not get this in its complete form? Did I fast forward too much? Like, I was like aghast at just how much I was missing and what was going on. And then I just thought about it for a second, and I'm like, no, the show fast forwards like a lot. Like, so it's probably going to explain to me later why he's in prison now. So for now, I'm just going to sit tight, watch, and let it explain it to me as it goes on. And it's just as I figured, like, it's as I suspected. He went to jail because somebody ratted him out, and I'm so glad that somebody did. I'm so glad he went to jail. And no good, Kai.
Mark, what about you? Oh, Priscilla, did you want to continue?
Oh no, nothing.
Mark, what about you? What did you think of Kai in prison in 2018?
Like I said at first, I was like kind of like jilted, like, you know, hoping that they weren't going to just start off from there and start from there, then go back, and then have it, you know, be them leading up to like the last 10 minutes of them explaining how the hell he ended up in prison, and then him getting out and then make his way to Alley or something like that, and that'll be it. I'd have been pissed if that had been the situation. But I enjoyed seeing him in prison. But I'm not going to lie, I was unnerved when I saw him do the pinky thing with the guard. I'm like, shit, he's in jail and he's already got people. So when I saw him with the guard, I said, okay, he already has a way out of jail. It wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when he's going to break out, you know. And then when he turned around
and she started popping her titties.
When he said, let me see those big biker titties, I'm like, what? I was like, okay. Well, he just sounded like some weird ass person saying some shit like that. I mean, he's weird, but I'm just saying, like, oh God. But she was like, yeah, I'll show it to you, Daddy. I'm like, girl, how much did Ryan Murphy pay you for this goddamn role? Because I don't know. But then he got the guys, like we said, and then I was like, when the guy turned on the other guy, I was like, oh, we have another Gary Longstreet up in here, because
Oh yeah.
he sat
Oh,
there,
Gary
he
Longstreet.
he sat there and let Kai kill him, and I was like, there's no way in hell. But when we got to him outside on the lawn and stuff like that, and him doing have these all these guys, and I said, okay, they're all multicultural. They're like, different races, different backgrounds, and something like that. So I'm like, how did it happen? I'm shocked that he got in there and managed to do all that. But like he said, the quickest way for you to rise up in rank in prison. I don't know for a fact, but I just noticed that that's a thing with a lot of
You heard?
characters. I heard, on these streets, you know what I'm saying? But it seems to me that that's the thing that guys do. When you have a lot of info and a lot of intel in prison, you do kind of like rise up in the ranks a little bit. And so you kind of like invaluable, you know what I'm saying? Or just a commodity, you keep everybody on their toes and whatnot. So I was like thrown aback from that. It just kind of reminded me of Oz a little bit. It seemed like they had every type of character from Oz.
Well, it
And
seemed like he sort of not embedded himself, but he picked people from each of the prison cliques so that
yeah,
he could end up killing all the heads of the cliques, and then everyone follows him.
basically, I mean, I can see it. Also, we saw Charles Manson one time. I'm not trying to, just ruin it, situation, but just like that kind of, it jarred me a little bit to see him that one time. But we will get to that later on. I mean, but I just know he saw Charles Manson. I'm like, he is really, I think Manson was just like all to God. You know what I'm saying? So, but I don't know. It was interesting. I was just glad his ass behind bars, but then when I realized that he had this whole damn cult inside the prison, then I was like, ooh, Allie girl, you in danger. You and whoever else, you and Beverly Hope. So I don't know. I was just waiting. It was just like at that moment when he, said I was, betrayed by a rat, I got even more nervous because I feared for the lives of Allie, Beverly, and even Oz. You know what I'm saying? I feared for their lives there. For real, for real. So
Madison, what about you?
I was pretty like weirded out with the whole Guard and Kai relationship. That was just really, really awkward. And at first I was so confused because like she just undid her shirt and then the guys came in and it was like nothing was going on. So I was really confused. I'm like, why isn't she doing her job? Like, aren't there cameras around? Doesn't anybody else see what's happening? It just kind of seemed a little unrealistic, but I don't know. Like, I haven't been in jail before, so I don't know how it works.
Madison has extensive experience in the
Yes,
prison system.
extensive. But I wasn't really surprised how Kai already kind of has a following in there. So, because I'm sure people, walked up to him once he got in prison and was like, "Oh, like how's it like being in a cult? Why are people following you? Like you're nothing." And then he's like probably like, "Give me your pinky." Right? So, I just thought it was a little weird. Just the whole situation with the guard that just kind of got me all weirded out. But the situation in the bathroom, I guess, the showers, when he killed his friend or one of the followers, that wasn't surprising to me that he would be like, oh yeah, well, we can't have any witnesses, so you're gonna die. Okay, cool, bye. It didn't really surprise me, so I don't know, it just showed that Kai is able to do anything. And now he's gonna build an army in a tiny little prison. So yeah.
Exciting. The whole pinky thing. I'm sorry, like maybe I'm just not drinking that flavor of Kool-Aid, but like I just don't get it. Like I really don't. Like when I saw the guard do it and she got really into it, I'm like, if someone's like like do the pinky, give me your pinky, like I just there's like no part of me that would feel like, oh, I feel forever changed by this situation. So that whole thing, like, it was always kind of like cheesy before, but like now that he was in the prison and doing it with the guard, I was like, this shit is whack. Like, how the fuck are people falling for this crap? But apparently it works, I guess, in the show's universe. Other than that, and sort of like the ridiculousness of that in the prison. I thought it was kind of neat how they did start in 2018. I love the time jump. I feel like after watching the episode, the time jump was kind of a neat little motif for the episode. I think it was appropriate. It kept us on our toes and wondering what was going on and how it happened, as opposed to like if they would have gone in just the regular order and the regular sequence of things. Maybe it would have still been kind of cool and fine, but it just left us sort of like curious about what he's going to do and what he's got planned, because we were left almost like with a little cliffhanger at the start of the episode that wasn't going to get solved until later on, halfway or even a little over halfway through the episode. So I thought it was neat, and I'm not gonna lie, because Madison messaged me about it. I was like, I wonder how's he in jail. How's he in jail? So like throughout the rest of the night while I was podcasting, that's all that I thought about, which was kind of hilarious to sort of peek into my head. So I know. Continuing on, we rewind in time to 11 months ago in Brookfield Heights, Michigan, and Kai, he's freaking out. He can't reach Speedwagon. Speedwagon is one of his most loyal of loyals. He's always there, always on time, never misses a meeting. And so Allie calms him down, gives him his pill, and in front of his bros, he basically says, we can't do the Night of 1,000 Tates, aka Sharon Tates. He's like, we have to do a Night of 100 Tates. And so he explains that they have the targets. They got all this information from OBGYNs and Lamaze classes, etc., etc. And so they have 100 pregnant women that they are going to kill Sharon Tate style. And he shows them how to kill them because, the whole thing with Sharon Tate, it was ruined, it was bastardized, no one knew what the hell was going on. And so this time they have to make sure that it's done right. They can't be sloppy like the Manson family. So you have to kill the mother and the fetus in one blow. And if the husband or the partners aren't there and they try to stop you, kill them first. Make make a sign out of them, basically. And basically the idea of this is that all of the rage of this Night of 100 Tates will be directed at the opposing senator, Senator Jackson, the incumbent senator, so that Kai can end up winning his Senate seat. And so they practice on watermelons. So while that's going on, or actually after that's going on, Beverly ends up preparing a salad from the watermelons, and she tells Allie that, she intended to be the last person alive. She wanted to be the final person, but she begs Allie to kill her. She can't take it anymore. She can't do it. She's done with it all. And Allie, well, actually, Beverly, I guess, in a way to try to convince Allie to kill her, is like, at one point, I would have killed you. I would have done anything that the divine ruler said. I would have killed you, and I would have eaten a cheeseburger afterwards. But Allie's like, we all did what we had to do, and that everything has changed, and that the following night it's going to be glorious. So, Beverly, hold on until tomorrow night. So, Kai is still going crazy about Speedwagon. His paranoia is increasing. He feels like everything is bugged. And Allie's like, I need to show you something. And she shows him the recording device. And she is like, I tried to spare you, but Speedwagon is the person that betrayed us. And it was not. It was not. Winter. I was about to call her Willow because of frickin' Mark.
Don't do it.
I
I
know.
knew you were. I knew you were struggling with the name, and I was
Yes.
hoping that it would happen.
Yes.
Damn it.
Damn it, Mark. No, but Winter. So it was not Winter. Winter was innocent, and we get a flashback. It turns out Speedwagon was recording everything. It turns out that he was an informant for the local police so that he could avoid drug charges. Apparently, they caught him with some drugs, and when they found out that he was a part of the cult, they asked him to infiltrate the cult, and then once they heard everything about all the craziness, they asked him to still continue on recording. And once Allie sort of gets assured that it wasn't kind of like a live type of thing where it's an actual recording as opposed to them like listening in live, she kills Speedwagon. And so she tells Kai her version of what happened, basically, and she explains that Winter was innocent the whole time. And so she tells him to channel this rage to finish the plan. Winter would have loved it, do it in her honor. And so Kai ends up deciding to continue on. Let's pause right here and let's break all of this down. So let's talk about Kai and his bros on discussing the night of 100 Tates. Let's talk about Beverly breaking down with Allie, and let's talk about Allie and what she informs Kai about Speedwagon. So let's start off with Madison.
Whew. There's a lot to talk about.
This episode, there was a lot in the episode.
Yeah. So, with Allie and Speedwagon, at first I was kind of surprised that she didn't tell Kai because I didn't realize what her plan was. You know what I mean? Because we realize that she's going to be basically using Speedwagon's intel for the FBI and stuff like that. So I was a little confused as to what she was doing because, it would have been so good if she just told Kai right away so Kai wasn't freaking out and stuff like that. But I still didn't understand her plan because she knows where her kid is. She could have easily just killed Kai anytime she wanted and leave, right? So I was kind of wondering why she was still sticking around. That whole scene with her and Beverly, it was so upsetting to watch because we all love Beverly, and it was so hard to watch her like that. But I don't know why Allie was making her stay and why Allie didn't kind of include her in the plan that she had.
Mm-hmm.
Because, was Allie mad at Beverly? Because, Beverly was, in the cult before, but she could see how broken Beverly was. I don't understand why she didn't explain anything to her or be like, Beverly, it'll all be okay. Don't worry. I don't know why she didn't say anything.
Yeah,
So
there was a
kinda
part of me that
upset
hoped
me.
that they would have teamed up too.
Yeah, so that kind of upset me. That's why I was so unsure of what Allie's plan was because I don't understand why she wouldn't have told Beverly or anything like that. Maybe she didn't trust her. Maybe I don't know. But
Maybe the only, I guess, reason that I can give is because Beverly was so on edge that she was scared that she would say something, whether it was on purpose or accidentally.
maybe. But yeah, so that whole scene was kind of upsetting. But Kai's just kind of going crazy. And the whole scene where they were all the soldiers were getting ready to stab all the pregnant ladies, that was a little a little awkward to watch as well. But you know, I, going into the episode, I was still so unsure of what Allie was doing, and I wish I kind of knew a little bit more about her because I was getting more upset with her, how she was comforting Kai and stuff. So it was awkward for me. But yeah.
Mark, what about you? The whole Beverly and Allie, Kai and the bros and the plan, and then Allie with Kai.
Um, I was kind of echoing some of the stuff you guys were saying. But it's kind of like what you said that I had to come to conclusion with between Allie and Beverly, because I think Allie wanted to help Beverly. Maybe it was this whole, liberal thing inside of her. I don't know, but because I, a part of me feels that Allie was sympathized with Beverly, because she kind of, I guess, learned. It's like Beverly knew what she was doing, and she was like screwing up and everything. I mean, she knew what they were doing was. She came to the conclusion like, okay, Kai's not cool. We got to take him out. And you had people like Winter and even
Willow.
Ivy to some extent. Stop it, Ivy to some extent. Come in and be like, well, no, we can't. And so Allie was like, okay, I see Beverly is the one that sees Kai for what he is, but she has no power. And I'm thinking another reason why she didn't one of the reasons why she didn't go for Beverly is because she probably knew she was going to need Beverly in the end. And so, and also, like you said, Jeff, I think that Allie knew that Beverly was off kilter at that point in time, and she needed to trust somebody, because everybody she thought she could trust when she joined the cult ended up being like doing the most, and she couldn't just go with it. It was very calculating. And so when she revealed that Speedball was the rat,
Speedwagon.
Speedball, whatever the hell his name was. I know he was Speed. I call him Speed. And so
Shout out to Speedball.
it was funny because he mentioned that he was, before she took him out, she said, okay, are you just state police? Which means that she had to do two things at once. She had to kill him from not getting the state police involved, because that would have screwed up the FBI's investigation. Because clearly, if the FBI let in the state police about what was going on, this Speedwagon would have pretty much he would have been an ally, is what I'm trying to say. But she had to take him out because she knew that he wasn't going to be no good. And then she turned around and used that as a means to I can use this to really weaken Kai now, because Allie's whole game was to do what they did to her, and that was doing mind games. Yeah, she could have took him out. Yeah, she could have done all the stuff to everybody else, but she was like, I'm going to tear you down like you tore me down. Then I'm going to strike. And so she had Winter. She framed Winter. And then she sat there and it's like, let me just dig the knife deeper into your psyche by saying that, yeah, the rat wasn't Winter. It was this other person who you trusted. Mm-hmm. So you killed your sister for nothing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And, so just to make him really vulnerable. And
you knew she loved that.
Yeah. And so she got him down to the point where you really have nobody left. You get all these asshats in here, but you really have nobody left, because he took out his entire core. I mean, she took out, well, some of them kind of did it for her, the entire core, from Harrison on up to Winter, even Speedwagon to an extent, you know what I'm saying? All of them were gone. The original cult, Sans Beverly, was gone. And the only reason Beverly's still standing in Allie's because Allie could easily get rid of Beverly through Kai, but she said that she sees that Beverly came to her senses, was trying to do the same thing. So, but I thought it was great. I love the fact that she was working with the FBI the entire time, and I even love the fact that the FBI came to her and was like, "Look, something's going on with this Kai Anderson guy, and everything that you're saying makes sense." So I love that, and I love that, this was a long con for her, and it worked. Yeah, to a certain extent, but I enjoyed it. I loved it, and it wasn't drawn out. It was just like boom, boom, boom. It probably happened like a day after he had killed Winter, and that's all we needed. It was no extra shit like let's bring in Oz for some sympathy stuff. It was just boom, boom, boom. Now back to your regular schedule program.
Priscilla, what about you? Beverly and Allie, Kai's plan, and Kai with Allie.
Man, I felt so bad for Beverly. Like, she's looked a hot mess. She's looked broken, like this sad little wisp of what she was, what she once was. She used to be Beverly motherfucking Hope, and now she's hopeless. Like, there's nothing to her. Like, so when she's like, please kill me, like, I wanted to be the last one left alive. Now I just want to die. I'm just like, oh my God, I feel so bad for you. Don't say this, Beverly. No, I believe in you. Hold on. There's still more to come. Like, I like knowing what happens later, that he's in jail in 2018. I'm like, hold on to that glimmer of hope, and knowing that, like, she will be able to get out of this scot-free. I know it. Like, at that time, I knew that all it was gonna do was just take some time, and as long as she wasn't like just shot randomly willy-nilly or something like that, like, she'd be able to survive. So at that time, I was just like kind of keeping my fingers crossed that everything was gonna be okay with her. As for her talking about Willow's death, I thought that was
Willow.
That was genius. Oh, sorry, Winter.
Damn you, Mark.
I know. He's just infected this podcast with Willow.
I have not done that. That is not my.
It was a slow infection from many episodes ago. It's in our heads now.
Yeah. First it was Meadow, then it was Winter, then it was, yeah, whatever. In any case, Winter's death being completely pointless, man, that like sob that comes out of him, that sob, I haven't heard that sob since the Tate sob of like Violet leaving him, like that, like, no, nobody loves me, like that really sad laugh, that really sad tear that he has, that gasp of sobness. Like, I fucking love it. It's funny as hell. I feel no sympathy for him. Like, that guy, he deserves everything that's coming to him. He's a little bitch. I hate him.
I like it. I feel like all of you have covered everything, so I am just going to say, because I agree with a lot of what everyone said, I will say Adina Porter, outstanding. Like, her full, like, transformation from, like, confident woman to this, like, weak little thing that she became was amazing. And I'm not going to lie, I was so scared for Beverly. Like, after she asks Allie to kill her, and then, like, Allie with, like, her Pollyanna-ness, like, oh, tomorrow will be amazing, you need to just wait, and then she has to leave because Kai calls her. I'm like, why are you leaving Beverly with that big-ass fucking knife? So I was scared for Beverly's life. But,
to be fair though, like,
mm-hmm.
you guys are all like, why are you leaving Beverly? I'm like, they were never friends. Like,
well, that is true, but, like, this woman was, like, suicidal, so I was just scared that when she left the room that Beverly was gonna start, like, cutting herself or something.
yeah.
Yeah. So, other than that, you all sort of covered it all. I did really love the acting between Sarah Paulson and Evan Peters in that scene in the bedroom where she talks about Speedwagon and about Winter's death. I just thought it was beautiful. It was just fantastic. So, it is the following night, the night of 100 Tates, and Kai goes over the plans again. He gets the troops together. The bros are pumped up, drugged up, and they're ready to go. So while all of that is going on, well, Beverly is down there sort of observing everything. And while all of that is going on, Allie walks out the house. One of the bros is like, "Where are you going?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm getting some snacks." And she's like, "I'm getting some snacks." And so she leaves, she walks out, and she walks directly into a truck where the FBI is. And she's like, "Go, go, 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 go. No, 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 no." And the bro ends up going downstairs. "Oh, no, did you tell her to get snacks?" And while he does that, the FBI barges in. They do smoke bombs and all that kind of stuff. Kai is like, "You bitch." And there's a shootout. There's a lot of crossfire. All of the bros die. Beverly gets a chance to shoot one of the bros in the head, and she looks so fucking happy to do that. And everyone is, well, not everyone, because everyone dies except for Kai, who gets some of his bros' bodies. They end up falling on top of him, and so Kai and Beverly are captured, and Kai realizes that it was Allie, obviously. He's like, "I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you." And Beverly is like, "Allie, it was a beautiful night." And there you go. We'll pause right here because we jump ahead in time in the next scene. So, any thoughts on Kai getting his comeuppance, at least legally, by getting arrested for all that he's done? Mark?
Man.
Or Priscilla, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that that sense of chaos of what's going on down there, like that the scene where the cult member shoots himself in the head, or the scenes where they're grabbing their guns to see whether they can shoot, but they don't know whether they're shooting a friend or foe. That's got to be terrifying. They shot that so well. I thought it was really cool. I'm never gonna get to see something like that in real life. So seeing that was there, it almost felt wow, this is firsthand stuff. This looks cool. I liked it a lot.
Priscilla loves death and murder. Madison, what about you? What did you think of that scene where Kai gets caught?
I thought it was a little, I don't know, I thought it could have been done a little bit better. When they threw the what do you call it, smoke bombs down there, I just felt like it made it a mess. I felt like it could have been a little bit more dramatic. I just felt like everything was so scatterbrained that it was hard to actually see Kai. And I don't know. I would have liked it to go a different way. Maybe a little more just Kai and seeing him cry and realize that his time is done. It was pretty funny when Beverly just picked up the gun and shot that one guy.
That was so
She's
good.
like, "Yeah, I'm back." And then him seeing Allie after, I don't know, it just wasn't so shocking to me. It just felt like it was too easy, if that makes sense. I was kind of hoping for something, like I said, bigger, dramatic. And I guess that's more towards the end of the episode, whereas the more the theatrics and the drama, but it would have been better, I feel, if it was done in more of a secretive way than just the FBI coming in. But that's just my opinion.
Okay. So Priscilla liked it. Madison, maybe not as much. Mark, where do you fall?
I liked it. I liked it because I liked how it. I would say this when she started walking out. First and foremost, I got to say this because I got to break down the scene when she starts going outside, and then that one bro comes out of nowhere. Where are you going? That's when Alex should turn around and say, "Why are you up here asking me what the fuck I'm doing? Why aren't you down there doing what you're supposed to be doing? Why are you up here? Why are you talking to me? Do you not know that I am the queen of this castle? Get your ass down there and start stabbing them goddamn watermelons." She should have
Oh
just
my
sat there and
gosh.
roast. She should have, because I was like, "Why are you upstairs?" This like it irked me. It irked me. And then he come downstairs like, "Did you tell Allie why are you upstairs?" Like, because you saw how Kai was acting when he could not find Speedwagon because he was waiting for him to start the damn thing. And I guess some people say, well, you need somebody up there to stand guard. But at the same time, like, you got Dodo Brain up here who don't know what the fuck to do. If they had went and started doing a night of 100 takes, it just, I don't know, it just irked me to no end. Like, why are you fucking upstairs? Go down there, grab a watermelon, and proceed to learn how to stab these damn things. Um, but when she got out there and then you realize that she's with the FBI, I was like, yes. And I knew there was going to be some type of bloodbath for all the bros to be taken out, but I was worried about Beverly because I was so scared she would get caught up in the crossfire. Um,
Oh, yes.
because even though last week's the teaser for this episode that aired last week out, that aired last week showed Winter, Beverly. I think they even showed a clip of Ivy, so you knew, but they hadn't showed Willow. Damn it!
They didn't show
They,
Willow?
shut up. They hadn't showed Winter. They didn't show Winter, and so I was like, okay, so that doesn't necessarily mean that Beverly's gonna make it through this episode, especially this damn this big ass shootout. And I said either she's going to be arrested and she's gonna like snap or something like that, or Kai is going to realize that she shot one of the bros. I actually thought Kai was gonna pick up and get the gun and shoot her, but it was just, it was chaotic. But yeah, I just was kind of pissed off that even though I knew this motherfucker was in prison at the time, it was just the fact that how did he not get shot? But then you saw these guys was jumping in front of him, and I don't know. It was good though to see him get taken down, and then to see Allie be like, "Yeah, motherfucker, yeah, you fucked with the wrong one," And so, yeah, I liked it because he got his comeuppance, and yeah.
Yeah, Allie was standing out there like a boss with two dollar signs at the end instead of S's.
Exactly.
It's fantastic. I was worried for Beverly too. Like, I was so worried for Beverly in this episode. I thought she was going to kill herself. And then I was like, oh no, she's going to get shot. And I'm like, they can't kill her like this. But when she picked up the gun and she shot the guy, I was so excited. But then I was like, she picked up the gun and shot the guy. Now she probably will get shot because they're going to think she's a hostile or
Exactly.
something. But she didn't, so I was really excited when I saw her walk outside. I was fine with how it was handled. I thought it was fine. Like, I didn't mind the scene. Now, I don't know if any of you read an interview that Sarah Paulson did that was released like late last night after the episode aired. She said something that I thought was so juicy and interesting because we have like a mention of a character later on, which we'll get into, that sort of ties this with like other seasons. But besides that, there was going to be a teeny tiny little Easter egg in the scene where she's outside and Kai walks by her. She was going to light a cigarette up, and the match book that she was going to use to light the cigarette up with was going to say Hotel Cortez.
If I'd have seen it, I would have
Aw.
fucking died. I would have screamed. I swear to God, I would have screamed.
That would have been so good.
Sarah
That
Paulson
would have
said,
been awesome.
yeah, Sarah Paulson said they filmed it, but they obviously they did not use that take. But that scene is shot and is somewhere out there in the universe.
Oh my God, that just threw. I'm fanning myself right now. Like, oh God.
That would have been kind of awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on, and we pick up sometime later. We're at the butchery on Main, and a customer is sort of, raving about the restaurant and, basically raving to Allie on like she's an inspiration, and I can't believe all you've gone through, and you're so brave. Can I take a picture with you? And Allie's like, no, 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 I want to put that in the past and whatnot. Beverly shows up, and she screams to Allie, what's a girl got to do to get a table? And so they sit together, and Beverly starts talking to Allie, and starts, you know, she has some questions. She's like, are you okay? What's going on with Kai? I'm still worried because he never said anything about me, and what if he says something about me, and what's going on? And, you know, and Allie's like, well, you didn't fit the profile. These were white nationalists. You're a black woman. Like, you didn't fit the profile at all. Like, they probably thought you were like a hostage or that kind of situation. And then she also goes on to say that Kai won't turn on you because of his narcissism. He won't allow anyone to take any credit for anything that he did. And she explains that the FBI had approached her when Dr. Vincent had her committed. They started to get suspicious about Kai, especially after the assassination attempt. And so she got herself immunity, and she started basically gathering evidence for the FBI. And Beverly hints at the fact that she knows that Allie killed Ivy because Kai didn't take credit for that murder. Kai took credit for all the murders except for Ivy.
At that point in the show, I was like, you liar, Liza Minnelli lies, liar. Oh my God. It was so bad.
And Beverly is like, what's going on? And Allie, she fakes it. She's like, oh, I'm still so emotional. And I guess she fakes it enough to where either Beverly believes her or she fakes it enough so that Beverly knows not to believe her. But we learn that Beverly is not a reporter anymore. She is a bartender. We also learn that Allie has a new chef girlfriend. Apparently, she has a type. Someone that can cook. And her new girlfriend, Erica, brings out a dish, and they end up inviting Beverly to Oz's birthday party that weekend. And so at the party, we skip ahead, and Erica answers the phone, and she explains that it's Rachel Maddow's team once again trying to get Allie for an interview, but she keeps turning them down. And I love the line Beverly's like, well, if you turn down like Lana Winters, like, of course you're going to turn down Rachel fucking Maddow. And the phone rings again, but this time it is a collect call from prison from Kai. And so Allie steps away and takes the call, and he goes on to like yell at her, liar! And he says that the only thing that was keeping her alive was the fact that Allie was his child's mother. And so she's like, oh, I guess you got a letter from the genetics place. And he basically swears vengeance, that he is going to kill her and that he is going to find her and he is going to get out, and he's basically creating a brand new cult and he's going to get her. And so he ends up like beating the crap out of the payphone that he's talking on. In a moment that made me laugh, Gloria, the guard, ends up saying, that's government property. And so she ends up taking him back to his cell, where
I laughed so hard at that too.
I know, because I just thought it was so fucking random. I'm like, that's government property. And then he's like, take me to my cell. She's like, okay, divine ruler. And so they go back and they end up having sex while watching Allie announce on the news that she is running for the Senate seat that Kai had intended to run on. And Kai, that's my Senate seat. So let's continue on for a moment before we pause. And so later on, some more time passes, and Allie is showing Beverly her campaign ad that discusses her story, and it basically talks about how there are Democrats and Republicans, and she wants to be elected so that she can shake up the system, and she wants to dismantle the two-party system. And so Beverly says that focus groups like the ad, and they also like Allie, but she's trailing in the polls because she's not seen as strong, experienced, or a trusted leader. And Allie says that the lack of experience is code for being afraid of a strong woman, but Beverly says that she is too tied to Kai. When people see her, they see Kai, and that scares people. And so Allie's like, well, we can remove Kai from the ads. I can distance myself from him in the public eye, and she intends to show her strength in the debate with Senator Jackson. So let's pause right here. Let's break this down. So time has passed. Allie has established some sort of form of celebrity because of her story about escaping the cult. Kai has sworn revenge on Allie, and Allie decides to run for the Senate. So let's break it all down. Madison?
There's a lot to go through.
I know, this episode is so much.
Well, I'll kind of do it like in a vague way, I guess. So Allie running for Senate or whatever, kind of, I don't know, I was kind of actually getting annoyed with Allie in this character because it made me feel like she was Lana Winters again. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like when she was in asylum and how she was a victim and then she got out of that and she made herself, it was kind of like I was seeing that again. To me, that's, I don't know. I like characters, but I don't really like recycling them. And that's what it felt like. Like you get screaming and crying Sarah Paulson and then you get badass Sarah Paulson. So it kind of annoyed me that she was taking this power role, but it was nice to see Beverly working with her. And I'm not surprised that Beverly didn't get in shit for being involved in the cult, because even when she was a reporter, nobody even questioned that. So I didn't think that she was going to have a problem. But seeing Kai in prison and seeing how he took control of the whole prison again, it's just a little strange that no one else in the jail, like, how like in the beginning of the season we were wondering why no police in the town or anything were paying attention, people were going missing and stuff like that, nobody really cared, no media coverage was even like questionable. It was kind of like that in the prison for me. So I don't want to say it was unrealistic, but it just kind of seemed a little suspicious to me. What else did we?
Well, you have to remember, because Samuels was involved. Yeah. I guess that's why they explained it away. We always questioned.
But then Samuels died.
No, correct.
That's no one cared.
That's what I was gonna say. We always questioned why no one said anything about Samuels, but I forgot to mention this when we were talking about Speedwagon. In his little explanation of like why he was wearing the wire, it was because Samuels had they all the cops suspected he was crooked, and that's why they started to investigate and his connection to Kai, and then they ended up finding out more about the cult. And so the local police was doing an investigation through Speedwagon, so it's not like the local police didn't know.
just seemed so weird. I don't know. But I don't know. What else did we need to talk about?
So, Beverly and Allie in the Senate run. Yeah, I think you covered it. Yeah.
This episode was a lot.
I know that,
There was
like, each
yeah.
scene, each segment before before each commercial break was
Mhm.
chock full of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Priscilla, what about you? What did you think of Allie, her newfound celebrity, her and Beverly, as well as Kai's threat and her decision to run for Senate?
Madison was completely right about like the feeling that she got about rehashing or reusing the Sarah Paulson like trope about like the successful like final girl thing, like because I saw her like kind of like as if it was that same character, but to kind of downplaying her success. And as soon as the Senate seat came up, well, she stopped downplaying it and took it. So I'm like, oh, okay, well then it's the same trope. It's exactly the same trope, and I don't know where you're taking it from here. Where you're going along with this, and I don't know. I expected something a little bit different, a little like not that I didn't want Allie to be like in the end like alive, but maybe had things been different, had it only been Beverly that had been the final person, had it been a twist and they had actually indoctrinated her and she really like did drink the Kool-Aid and was like a cult member and like is starting a cult of her own outside, like maybe but even then like that's the story that we got now and it still didn't satisfy me all that well. So I don't know, like I see what they were trying to do there, like the beginnings of it and why they needed Beverly to stay and why they needed Sarah Paulson's character to be like where she was at that point. But I don't know. I just wish that something else would have been done instead.
Okay. I get the Lana Winters parallels, and I get where both of you, your complaints about it. I didn't mind it as much, to be quite honest. The thing that I thought was a twist, because I personally wasn't expecting it, was when she announced that she was going to run for Senate, because in those scenes prior to Kai threatening her, like she was really trying to downplay the celebrity, and she was like, I'm trying
Did
to
you
move
guys
on.
catch what she said about that? Like when they were calling her? Like when the news reporters would call her and then her girlfriend was like, "No, they said no. Like we're not doing it." And then she's like, "Yeah, like she even like shot down an
Lana
interview with
Winters.
Anna Winters." I was like, "Oh, snap."
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. Although
like,
that took me out of
yeah,
the
she
scene for a
can't.
moment, because I was like, isn't Lana Winters dead? Did she die? They didn't. I'm trying to remember.
No.
No, they didn't kill
No,
her.
she didn't
She got
die.
No,
assaulted.
they just, yeah.
Yeah.
Cause she read the damn TV reporter for filth on the
Not the
and she
TV
explained to them
reporter.
why Lee was doing what she was doing. So
Oh yes, she was in her hospital bed. Not a hospital. She was
no,
like
that
in
wasn't
her
her.
bed.
She was at home.
She was in her home in her bedroom.
grandbed.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because I kept on trying to remember. I was like, didn't they kill her off in Roanoke? But no,
yeah.
the only Sarah Paulson character that they brought back to kill off was the Billie Jean. I was about to call her Billie Jean
Billy,
King.
it's Billy Dean,
Billie Dean. Yes. She was
but
not
she
the
didn't die
tennis
either.
player. She did die.
No, she didn't. She ran out the hotel.
Billie Dean.
She ran out the hotel because Ramona Royale told her, if you ever report on us again, I'm the only one that can leave this hotel and find you. So you best leave now. She ran out the hotel, and that was it.
She
So
did? Are you sure they didn't
yeah,
kill her? Like all
they
the
didn't
all
kill her.
the ghosts
No,
didn't kill her on
no.
All Hallows Eve?
they brought her to the room, the shit out of her because she was trying to do that live show.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said, none of you can hurt me, outside this, outside this hotel. And Ramona Morel stepped in and said, but I can. She said, so if you continue to talk to us about, if you mention anything that goes on here at the Hotel Cortez, I know where to find you.
Oh,
So
okay. Good
she
grief.
told her to
Hotel
get her
feels
ass
like
out.
100 years
Yeah.
ago. I couldn't remember that. I thought Billie Dean died.
No, so that's why they keep calling Lana Winters. That's what they keep calling Sarah Paulson the final girl, because outside of her character from
Well,
Roanoke.
technically, she was already dead in Hotel.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, outside of her character from Roanoke.
And she got a really bad ending. She's with the drilled dough.
Yeah, and Hypodermic Sally, she still survived all of the American Horror Story seasons, except for Roanoke and Hotel.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so, but that would have been a great scene, though, just because the CGI of it all. Well, not really CGI, but the green screen of it all. I mean, that would have been amazing if she would have said yes to the interview. But I didn't really see that twist coming. But I guess because he was just so adamant about threatening her, I guess she was like, fuck it, I'm gonna take the last thing. I took everything away from you. I'm gonna take the last thing that you wanted. So let me run for that seat.
Mind games. Mind games. She's all about the mind games. And a part of me thinks that she did. I'll get to that later on in the episode. Just remind me. But when they mentioned Lana Winters, I almost pissed myself, screaming like a little fanboy, like, oh my god, it's Lana Winters. So, but I like the build up. I was so scared. I was like, Beverly, what the fuck are you doing? You are asking too many questions. Are you still part of the Divine Rulers, brigade? Or
no, see, I didn't even think of that. Like, there was a part of me though that once again I was worried about Beverly. I was like, is Allie gonna kill her for asking all these damn questions?
But would you blame her though? Because the simple fact of the matter is that we're out of this mess. You going doing your thing. I'm going doing my thing. Kai's behind bars. And she kept saying, but I'm still alive though. And it's like, but you are pushing that gift. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, if I was Beverly, I would have been nowhere near that damn area. Nowhere near that area. Because you don't know who in that area was in Kai's pockets. And I'd have been so far away. Allie, you go do what you want to do. I'm gonna cheer you on for right here. But Beverly saying, I think the Beverly hope that we had all grew to love was coming back, but she did not know when to fucking quit. It was like, okay, what are you doing here, and what do you want? Because that's what I kept asking every time Beverly was on the scene, in that whole entire scene, like, what do you want? What is it that you want? Because the only thing I could think of for her to be that damn intent on finding out why, or if Allie actually killed Ivy, that Kai didn't said this and said that, and all this shit was because she was still working for Kai. That's the only reason I could come up with.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was no other reason under the sun for her to be just that damn inquisitive. And on the second, but it's like I reminded myself that maybe this is the Beverly Hope that was the one who was questioning Kai when he was the one who got Kai to reveal to her, all this shit about the parents being upstairs dead, and Rudy's involvement, and Winter knowing about all this stuff, and she just likes to have the information as an upper hand, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, that didn't work well for her to begin in the first time. So what the hell makes her think it's gonna work well for her again to have all this shit on Allie? You know what I'm saying? So I just want her to just shut up, because I'm like you, Jeff. I was like, you keep talking, your ass is gonna be dead for the damn final reel.
Yeah.
For the final credits run, because you are doing the most.
Although I did like that they ended up pairing up, and Beverly Hope was sort of becoming Allie's Olivia Pope.
Yeah, it was seen that way, but again, even when the campaign ad was going on, it was still like I wasn't trusting Beverly. I couldn't trust her. I could not trust her up until a certain point. But at that time when she was doing the campaign ads and shit, I was like, what do you want? What is that you want? Yeah, you're helping her run her campaign now, but there's something back there, that I'm not touching on. And I want to mention one other thing. Did y'all catch the fact that Kai was screwing both the guard and somebody else?
No.
Huh?
Wait, what? No, he was just
If you
screaming
look at
hard.
the scene, no, you look at the scene again, the legs that were up, those were male legs.
Okay, yes, I did. I did notice like a few other limbs, and I was getting very confused.
Because
Oh.
if you look back, so I'm like, she's dark
Oh.
skinned and those legs were hairy and were a white man's legs.
Oh.
So he was probably having a threesome.
He was
And she
banging
was
Trevor.
like, yeah. Well, he was banging the dude and she was riding the dude. I don't know. All I know is I was like, damn, Kai, you just like,
Oh, he's trying to have another
yeah.
Messiah baby. Oh, no, not
Hey!
another. He wants to have a real Messiah baby.
Yeah, it's probably what he's trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So I caught that too. I'm like, yeah, he's screwing 3 people. I had to do that a double take like 2 or 3 times. Like, is it? Yeah, that's a white guy's leg. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right, let's continue on. So, in the prison laundry room, Trevor, now known as Rimshot, is sporting like duplicates of Kai's tattoos. He has his hair cut just like Kai, and it looks like, at least in my opinion, what I thought was going to happen was that this dude was going to pretend to be Kai in the prison while Kai escapes and is out and about. No, that's not what it was, because this is American Horror Story, and that's too simple. So the plan is that Rimshot will be another martyr, and Kai stabs him, kills him, and then he begins to mutilate him by cutting his face off so that Trevor can pass for Kai's dead body. And so Gloria reluctantly helps to, chop or slice this guy's face off. And then we see Kai and Gloria walk out the gates with Kai dressed as a guard. It's the night of the debate, and Beverly tells Allie that Kai is dead. Kai has died. They found his dead body, and they both, though, have like a suspicious look on their face. So we see the debate, and Allie is, giving it to Senator Jackson, and she seems to like hold her own against him. And they start taking questions from the crowd, as they do at town hall debates, and the question comes from Kai. And the entire crowd freaks out. Everyone starts to hide, under their seats and everything. Kai approaches the stage, and he's got a gun, which Gloria hands him. Gloria is also there. And he starts talking about taking credit for making Allie a symbol. And, Allie has made it so that, women can believe that, they can succeed and they can lead men. And he says that, he needs to basically exterminate the symbol so that, he can truly get his message out there. And he says that women should learn their place. He says some stupid ass bonehead shit, and I think he was like, they got to be making me a sandwich or something like that, which I sort of cracked up at because he said it in such a over the top and insane kind of way. So he aims the gun and bam, he fires. And the gun is not loaded. And so we get a flashback. Gloria is chatting with Allie at the butchery on Main. And basically, Allie's like, I've been there. This is what he does. And he's been, talking about your fears, right? He's been talking about your weight and your weight issues. And he makes fun of that, doesn't he? And she ends up convincing her to basically come on her side and to help take Kai down.
Did anyone think before we realized that she is actually on Allie's team that this girl was going to get so messed up? Like she was going to get totally killed in a probably bad way by Beverly or Allie? Like did anyone else think that?
I was hoping to see her to see something different come about this, like to see. So I was hoping that she was in on the plot. Like I was glad that the story played out the way it did.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So continuing on, so Allie and Gloria share a smile, and Kai, because Allie's been quiet this whole time. Kai demands that Allie say something. And so she does. She says that you were wrong. There is something more dangerous in this world than a humiliated man, a nasty woman. And with that, Beverly pops him in the head, shoots him, I should say, and we learn that the election returns show that with only 6% reporting, Allie got 80% of the female vote, and it is more than likely it's curing her to unseat Jackson as the new senator. So let's pause right here, because what happens next is going to lead to an entirely different conversation. So Kai, his plan, the debate, kaboom, nasty woman. Let's break it all down. Priscilla?
That was like, why? Why did it have to be like a debate where it was like where this had to happen? Like where, I don't know, the most trite answers, like the things that you wish Hillary Clinton would have said, like when they called her a snowflake and she's like, yeah, but what, I might be a snowflake, but when all of us come together, it's a snowstorm, like a blizzard, like it's little things like that, like little quips that like you wish that like they would have said at the time to sound better than what had happened with our current election. Like, ugh. So I don't know, like, but I found myself cracking up when I saw him pull the gun out and take the shot, and then nothing happened. I was like, yes, oh my god, that means that this has all been a setup for him. That means that they're successful, that they've won, and lo and behold, that they were. And to have to have the final shot be done by Beverly fucking Hope, yes, is perfect. It's exactly what I wanted.
Mark, what about you?
I echo everything Priscilla just said. I felt that this was Allie's, again, long con, the long, game she was running. This is all a mind game to Allie. She has been screwed with royally. So not only did it's like she knew, like when she had the FBI come in and take Kai out and we went to jail, he pleaded guilty to all the stuff because she said that he was so narcissistic to the point where he did not want anybody to take credit for it. And so because she knew it, she knew that he's going to take credit for everything. He might not take credit because, for the Ivy thing, but, whatever. But she said it's fine because she knew him. and she knew that he was not only going to take credit for it, but that he was going to eventually find out that Oz was not his. That's going to enrage him more because, again, he has no seed. And if I'm not mistaken, when he found it out before he had the threesome with the guy and what was her name? The guard?
Gloria.
So he was doing the whole Messiah threesome type thing, whatever. So then she played with something else. She took away his a potential son, and then she took away like his sentencing. So she knew that he was going to come for her. So that's why she had to sit there and go and make sure that she had somebody on the inside. And so then he gets out. He comes to not only do this mess on national TV. Actually didn't he say it was Gloria's idea to do the whole body swap thing? And which makes me think that Allie planted seed inside Gloria and Gloria planted it to Kai. And then who's to say that Gloria didn't tell Kai, like, you should go just try to pop her on national television. You know what I'm saying? And so for that way, Allie could get him on national television and humiliate him again before he dies, to just take away his iconic status. Because at the end of the day, Kai wanted to be the next Charles Manson. He wanted to be the next David Koresh. He wanted to be the next Jim Jones, the next whatever the guy was from the, he wanted to be the next cult leader. You know what I'm saying? But the one that was going to achieve it all. He had studied all the rest of them, and he didn't know. He studied them enough to see what their mistakes were, but he forgot the fact that he was too busy enthralled with how he was going to outdo them that he didn't. He underestimated his target. And so Allie, I believe, set all that up so she could take his ass out on national television, because killing him while he's sleeping or when his back is turned, because he would still say, I'm so big and bad to the point where you had to take me out with my back turned. She was looking him dead in the eye when he got shot in the back of his head by Beverly. So that's when Allie won. You know what I'm saying? She was like, checkmate, bitch. So I loved it. And I think because some people might sit there and argue they would just know this is the way it's played out. I think that was Allie's long con. You know what I'm saying? And I love it. It was just therapeutic for everybody, and it was just the come up is that Kai deserved. The people who he fucked. At the same time, Allie still did not get any blood on her hands. So she's coming out of this whole thing scot-free, clean. And that's when I trusted, Beverly gained my trust, because she could have easily sat there and shot Allie. Because when she the one took the shot, it just seemed like, I don't know, it just seemed right. It just seemed right. So that's what I have for that.
Madison.
Going off of kind of what Mark said a little bit about, this was Allie's plan and stuff. And I think that she really was okay with Kai being in jail and stuff until he called. And I feel like that's when she realized, okay, we need to just kill him. We need to figure out a way to fully end him, because we're never going to move on or find our peace or be better than him. And I think that once that was set in motion, then she was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to run for Senate, and that's going to get his attention, and I'm going to do this, and that's going to get his attention, that's going to get him angry. So it was a really good idea, and it was a good play on her part to do that. I realized something when she was on the stage and Kai was getting ready to kill her. I was kind of confused though, because weren't there the prisoners up on the stage or up below in the audience blocking the doors? Like, were they in on it too, or were they actually following Kai? Like, what about that? How did they all escape? Or did anybody else notice that?
Yeah, I noticed something like that as well, but then it never really made any sense per se.
Right? Like, who are they? Were those the guys from before? Like, his actual
Or
followers? Were,
maybe it was just the security from there. I don't know. It
yeah, it's like they
was
were, like, standing there, like, holding, like, they were, like, their arms were crossed. It
yeah,
was kind of
maybe it
confusing.
was well because I don't know, maybe the whole militia thing was still enacted, but Kai just was no longer.
I don't, like, that's why I was a little confused. And then
Yeah,
I
I
noticed that,
noticed
like,
something
the
like that in the
cameraman,
background too, but they never
yeah,
really
and then I noticed
focused on it.
the cameraman, like, didn't really change. He didn't really panic or anything. Like, he knew that this was gonna happen. And I don't know. So that was a little strange too. So, like, I the whole plot twist wasn't really that surprising to me, which kind of sucked because it would have been really cool. But and then having Allie not even freak out and how she was so, didn't flinch, didn't like veer away from looking at him in the eye. It was just kind of like, she knows something that he doesn't. There is a little something going on. So I thought it was really cool though. I was so happy that Beverly was the one that pulled the trigger in the end because she deserves it. I think she went through the most hell out of anyone. And obviously seeing her in the beginning of the episode and then seeing her now, it was awesome to see her pull through and get back to her normal character that we all love. So it was good.
I echo what all of you said. It was awesome. The debate was perfect. The plan was fantastic. Beverly motherfucking Hope is back and better than ever. She's a boss with the S's replaced with dollar signs too. It was just perfect. And Kai is dead. Ding Dong, the psychopath, is dead. And the twist that Gloria was in on it was just beautiful. They saved that flashback for the right moment. And I was like, oh, she got her. It's perfect. Okay, let's get into the final two scenes. So Allie is putting Oz to bed, and he sort of asks her some questions about like what it means for her to be senator. You know, she's in charge now, and she explains that yeah, I'm in charge, but I work for the people. It's not that the people are following me per se. I am there to support my constituents, and she goes on to say that she is going to lead the constituents to a better world. And she also explains that she has to leave. She explains to Oz that she has to go to a meeting. And he's like, is it a meeting with people like Kai? And she's like, no, 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 no. It's a group of powerful women who are going to change the system. And so we get an
Once she said that, I like immediately knew, and it was like, oh, here we go.
Mhm.
I immediately knew.
Okay, well, we'll see what you knew in a moment. So she starts applying her makeup, and she puts on a hooded robe, and that's the end. So let's talk about this, because there are a lot of theories online about what this scene meant. And I mean, there's a very obvious nod to someone from earlier in the season. So, what did you all think? Mark, you can go first. What did you think of the ending, and how did you interpret it?
Yeah, it was cute. I love the fact that she got this time back with Oz. At first Oz was like, you are doing the most, and now it seems like he's trying to reconnect with his mom. And it seemed like she didn't hide anything from him, in terms of like Kai or anything like that. So, but then again, Kai did put the guy in the goddamn quiet room, something like that. So he's probably traumatized by that, and, you know. But anyway, so and I noticed that she went and got Twisty the Clown and gave it to him as a reminder that I've come a long way. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay. I'm so over what happened. Like I'm not the same person I was, and I've gotten so bad to the point where I'm willing to let my son sleep with this hideous doll, this clown doll. You know what I'm saying? And then when she went to the room, because when she said a group of powerful women, my black ass, especially with the Lana Winters throwaway line
You
earlier
thought
in
it
the
was
episode.
Oprah?
No, I thought it was Lana Winters, Zoe from Coven. Who else survived? Just Survivor, so women. Ramona Royale from Hotel. Just women who, you
Shout
know,
out to Ramona Royale.
I don't know why I went there, but it was just the fact that, you know, who are these women? You know, then I had to sit there and think about, like, wait a minute, she might be. Then I saw the robe and the color of the robe. I said, okay, she might be. So this whole BB thing might not have been fake, and it might be, you know, some truth to that, and maybe she's now running a cult of her own. If not that particular cult, but she's in a cult of her own, and she's a senator now, which means that she achieved what Kai thought he was going to do, but she's doing it in a more, probably in a smarter way, and in a more low key, you know, subdued, you know, subtle way. You know what I'm saying? So, but I was hoping to be like a tie into somebody else or some other like past season or something like that. But who's not? I think that's what he wanted. I think Ryan Murphy wanted to leave the show like ambiguous like that, like, you know, because, or it could be somebody like, or the whole mantra of those who want to change the world end up becoming just as corrupted and crooked as those who they're trying to take down. So that might be a way of looking at it too.
That's interesting. I went, I think, through like the full gamut as I watched the scene when she originally told Oz, like, "Oh, I'm going to be meeting powerful women." I was like, "Oh, okay, like maybe she's going to have a meeting with other female politicians, and like this is like the new cult that's going to sort of like shake up the system in Washington." But then, like, as she started to put on the makeup and like the robe and everything, I was like, initially I was like, is this Coven? Like, is it a coven of women? And this is gonna tie into Coven. But then once I saw like what the robe was and the color and everything, I was like, oh, that's BB's robe. So this is like Scum Manifesto type of thing. So with BB dead, like she's now the head of this. So even though we didn't like the episode, Valerie Solanas lives in a sense. So I'm still confused, to be quite honest. But yeah, so that's the one thing that kind of bugged me. I wish that there was like an additional scene. But you know, I mean, sometimes, you know, showrunners like to leave ambiguous stuff, and so I guess it's ambiguous. But Madison, what about you? What did you think of the ending, and how did you interpret it?
When Allie was talking to Oz, I kind of knew at first. I was like, oh, like this is great, like she's gonna, you know, change the world, Hillary, whatever. And then when she said powerful women, I immediately thought Scum, like 100% Scum. And then when she put on the robe and I saw what color it was, I immediately knew that it was BB's and this is going to be the new Scum group. Which I thought was pretty cool in the end, to see it kind of go back and forth between the two cults. Like the whole season, we, you know, I don't know if you guys did this too, but I was trying to figure out what the season's true meaning was. like, yeah, it's about the 2016 election, stuff like that. But we hit a huge amount of problems and topics and stuff like that. So like huge one like sexism and genders and like so many things were going on and so many things were brought up that actually like happened in the election and stuff like that. And the whole time I'm like, okay, like, is this supposed to be like a men against women type thing? Like, is that the whole idea that we're going for? What is the bottom line of this season? It was really confusing to me because there were so many aspects of like learning curves and true identities and stuff like that of how humans are actually interacting with each other and how, you know, the simplest of brainwashing can take over like a whole town and stuff like that. So the whole time I was kind of wondering what the true meaning of the season was. So when Kai was defeated and then now Allie is the new leader of Scum, it was kind of like, okay, did the men lose and the women win? Like what's going on? Like was that the whole idea? Was it the whole, you know, man leading men and women leading women? Like what is, like, are we trying to create a war? Like, you know what I mean? So the ending was kind of nice to see because, you know, that was the BB's idea was to raise this big group of women and, you know, make them want to stand up to men and, you know, basically eradicate them. So it was nice to kind of see the whole season of it being Kai is in control and this is his reason for doing what he's doing and this was his plan. And then now we're going back to another cult. So it was kind of cool, but there was a lot of things during the whole season that was little underlying plots and stuff like that. So still don't really know the whole full synopsis or meaning of the season, but yeah, it was kind of cool.
If you think about it, in actuality, BB's plan came true.
Exactly.
BB told
Yeah, that's what I'm
Kai
saying, right? Yeah.
that she wanted to use him as a martyr to piss women off so that women basically get up off their asses, stop being complacent, and to demand their rights, basically, their right to lead.
And it's like it's so much true to like what's going on in like the world today. You know what I mean? So like the whole time during the whole season, I was like, okay, how can I relate this to like now? You know what I mean? And I don't know if like Ryan Murphy was trying to do that, like if that's what his idea was. So that's what I mean when I was trying to be like, what is this about? What does this relate to? What is, you know what I mean? The whole time I was trying to be like, oh, what is that trying to make fun of? Or, you know, like the whole like snowflake thing and all that stuff. Like it's just the little things here and there. It's a big joke. And I was trying to, you know, put the pieces together, like how, like, what is the big meaning of this? Like, what are you trying to, like, what message is this producer and the director and stuff trying to get out to the people? You know what I mean? So, but yeah, like, I guess BB's plan did work in all reality. So good on her.
Mark has apparently some information that'll answer Madison's question, but before we dive into that, I want to get your take on what you thought of the final two scenes and how you interpreted it.
I just kind of rolled my eyes at the final two scenes. I like it wasn't my favorite or my cup of tea. Like I was just kind of like, really. So we're circling it back to, well, there's another cult in the midst, and it's my cult now. Hee hee. Like you knew it was coming down to something like that, and it sucked that it had to go to something like that. I thought that we were changing things, that we were making things different, and in the end, everything just stayed the same. That we just have another cult of a different name with like someone else on the line, and it's probably Scum, because that's exactly what I thought too when I saw the slightly like kind of greenish tinged cape. I thought it was Scum. Not my favorite ending for a for a Ryan Murphy show as of late.
Okay.
To answer Madison's question, and this is not really this is my answer to the question. It's just because I'm like Madison. Each season could be tied to an overall theme. And Ryan Murphy earlier this year, if y'all remember, posted on his Instagram account the whole 9 circles of hell thing, and they had limbo, lust, gluttony, greed, anger, heresy, violence, fraud, and treachery. And in parentheses, he put for limbo, murder house. For gluttony, he put hotel. For greed, he put freak show. For anger, he put Roanoke. For treachery, he put coven. For fraud, he put asylum. And he put heresy. But I don't know if he put those there or he just got that from somebody else and he just reposted it. But heresy he had for cult. And they explained, this is from popsugar.com. And then from Pop Sugar says that heresy, now this is, it's a toss-up at that point in time, but heresy usually has to do with beliefs that contradict a kind of religious doctrine. In this context, maybe the members of this creepy new clown cult are killing anyone who disagrees with them. Alternatively, the cult itself could represent the heresy in America. If by what they're going with, heresy usually has to do with beliefs that contradict a kind of religious doctrine, I was going to say it's kind of like not really heresy, but I felt like the theme this year was just, I won't say here. What's the word I'm looking for? Not he said, she's. I mean, just I don't know. I want to say it's the lack of information and how how we are easily manipulated as a culture. You know what I'm saying? And there's a word for all of this, but I just can't think. I don't know if it's heresy per se though, but I think that it has something to do with the fact that
Gullible.
The cult of my brain shut down. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that it has something to do with the fact that this whole mentality of like people not doing their research, just going by what's being put on Facebook, and just not engaging. Everybody's talking, but they're talking at each other, but nobody's listening. And I don't know it because I don't know. Heresy just don't seem right to me. It just, unless you can take Kai's beliefs and I don't know, but that's what they're saying. And it might change after the final episode has aired. But I mean, I want to echo Madison's question. What do y'all think this season was about? Like, because I think that's a damn good question.
I think every season they focus on horror in some aspect or form, like whether it's like ghosts or whether it's witches or something that scares us. But in this case, like a lot of people were scared by the election itself, and it's based on the hysteria, like what all that negativity, what that brings up within people, the election themselves. And it's not just like a lambasting on like one side, because it wasn't just like hurting like the right, it was also hurting the left too, like with how it treated like Allie and how like hysterical she was sometimes too, just like. So I figured it was something like that, where it was just kind of talking about the political climate today and how like there's like a lack of like moderatism like at all anywhere anymore.
Madison, does that heresy definition like fits in with you? I like what Priscilla said.
Yeah, like I feel like both, well, like what you said is like a good point, because our world today is going through a lot of stuff, and like especially in your country, unfortunately. And I think like maybe like Ryan Murphy was trying to put his perspective on it and even possibly like twist, and like a lot of the things too. What Kai was saying in the season was like people don't do things unless they're scared. You know what I mean? Like you use fear. And I think fear was a huge aspect of this season. So, that's why, I was always questioning what is this season about, but I felt like there was a lot Like there was a lot of meaning and there's a lot of things to take out of it. And sometimes too, I hope that people that watch this season will take a little step back and be like, whoa, we need to check ourselves, do some more research, and, start listening to the right people. You know what I mean? Because this could happen potentially, or already has, or, we could end up like this guy or something like that. I don't know. But hopefully people will learn from this season maybe. But, it's fake. So anything could happen. And I think what they did with this season was really smart because when it first started, I don't know, a lot of people were like, oh, it's about the election. Wow, really?
Exactly.
Really? But I think they did a pretty good job in using actually like modern day life problems and using fear and brainwashing and stuff like that and seeing how simple it is to change like a small town. But essentially, if you put the right person in the right power, they can change a nation, right?
Mhm.
So I think that this season was really well done. Obviously not my favorite, but for what they were trying to accomplish, I think, or what I think they were trying to accomplish, I think they did a really good job. So,
All right. So now it is time for the MVP, the most valuable player. Which character impressed you the most and why? The rules are simple. State which character impressed you throughout the episode and why. And if someone has already mentioned the character that you were going to choose, you must select a different one. So no repeats. Oh, I have all the power because there aren't that many options. I could go first, and I can make one of you go last. I'm not going to go first. I'll be nice. But who shall go first? Who was most loyal to me this season?
oh my God. Okay, Kai.
Wow.
I know, right?
Damn.
Well, Madison, we all know you're not my speedwagon.
Oh, buddy.
I know, right? Oh gosh, now I do have all the power. Now I can't make a decision. Mark, you may go first. Your MVP.
For the entire season or for
No,
just
for this
Oh,
episode.
sure. Go with the guy, eh? Go with the turd, eh?
I gotta go with the
guys are
turd.
sticking together.
my most valuable player, I'm just gonna have to say is Allie.
Oh, for this
yeah,
episode.
for this episode, because like I said, the long con, she kept up this con with Kai, and I truly honest to God think that she had this all planned out from when she went to the psychiatric ward, and she had no time to sit there and put this plan in motion, and it just all came to fruition, and she got everything that she wanted and then some, and now she got the power without. She single-handedly got the power because she really didn't trust any damn body except for homegirl Gloria.
Willow.
No, I mean Beverly to an extent, but I still think that she held Beverly to a distance. But she went and told Gloria, and she just without the BS, she just did what she did, and I think that she only took out two people in the process
That we know of.
that we know of, but she single-handedly had Kai kill both his brother and sister. And then, but she made sure if there was a death that she didn't have to put her hands on, it was all under Kai's hands. And he can't turn around and be like, oh, she told me to do all that because they're not going to believe that. Like, you let somebody else come in. I don't know. She's the MVP. I'm just going to leave it at that. She's the MVP for me.
All right. Since you complained, Madison, you're next. Your
Oh my
MVP and why?
I'm just gonna short and simple because basically the whole characters and the whole cast are dead. I'm gonna go with Gloria, only because she was on Allie's side and she still had to have sex with Kai. And
Right?
right. So I feel bad for her. Like you, the MVP, for taking one for the team and
What if she liked
dealing
it?
with Kai's shit in the prison and basically it's possibly like jeopardizing her job. You know what I mean? Like she can't just like what if like another security guard walked in? Explain that to me.
Yeah, true.
So I don't know, like obviously without her, the whole like Allie's plan wouldn't have worked out. You know what I mean? So MVP because everyone else is kind of dead. So, but yeah.
Madison kind of took one for the team because she left two excellent choices.
Mm-hmm.
So Madison, you're more of a speedwagon than I thought.
You're welcome.
Yes. Although I am gonna roll the dice, and I'm gonna have to go next.
Aw, thank you. I'm gonna have to go with Beverly Hope, because that final gunshot, that talk during the cafe where you knew that she just wanted to get up and say bullshit. This is such bullshit. Like to the whole spiel with like it was just perfect. Like in every way. I loved her, and I hope if there is like more to this, if we get to see more of this at some point because of a sequel, that I hope that Beverly is like the star. I hope that she's who we have our eyes on.
I like it. I love me some Beverly Hope. She's my spirit animal. But I'm actually very cool with who's left because he did a dope-ass job. I'm giving it to Kai because Evan Peters brought it, from the beginning to the end. Like seeing him go psychopathic and schizophrenic and hallucinating and then go, insane in the membrane over Speedwagon not being there, and then go total nutsy cuckoo because he realized he killed his sister for naught. And then, every scene in which he just screamed that he was going to get revenge on Allie, and then finally getting the chance to do it, and when he did, pow! And nothing came out, the look on his face. Well, even rewinding like 10 seconds earlier when he yelled at her to say something! Like, oh, it was just so fantastic. The acting was perfect. And Evan Peters typically does not get recognized as far as like Emmy nominations for American Horror Story. It's usually leaned like towards like Sarah Paulson or when Angela Bassett and Kathy Bates were on, and of course Jessica Lange. So it would be nice to like get Evan Peters nominated and maybe even a win for this role because he did an awesome job throughout the entire season, and in this episode was fantastic. So, yes. So, how would you rate this episode on a scale of 1 to 10 clown masks? The point system is allowed, and if you found this episode exceptional, deserving of more than a 10, you may grant it the coveted Twisty the Clown mask. And we'll start off with Madison. How would you rate this episode?
I don't know. I feel like I'm going to give it an 8. And I'm going to give it such a lower rating only because, like I said, it was a good episode, but I expected a little bit more from a season finale. So that's my rating. Because, looking back at previous seasons, I feel like they did a much better job. But, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it could have been better.
So we have an 8 for the season finale from Madison. Priscilla, how would you rate the season finale?
I think I'm gonna give it an 8 too, for the same reason. I don't want to leave the season finale wondering, okay, what's next? Where's the next episode? And wondering what ifs, or wondering why it had to go in that direction when I should be thinking, yes, oh my God, thank goodness that they went in that direction, or whoa, they went there, or I can't believe they did that. Like, and none of those are statements that I pulled out for this finale. So, an 8. It's average. It's okay.
Okay. So 2 8s. Mark, what about you?
I'm gonna give it an 8.5. And the 0.5 is solely because of the Lana Winters shout out. because a lot of people shitted on this year, and I wanted to talk about that before we close out. But it was 8.5. I thought, I mean, you have a cult that many people left standing, so it was. Some people like, oh, Sarah Paulson survived again, like shocker, or something like that. Though, but the character herself went through a lot, and she went from being, an annoying, you know, pulp of mess to this strong, rock hard woman. You know what I'm saying? Just
Rock hard?
yes, rock hard. I just knew
Okay.
you were gonna say something.
I was
funny.
like, that's an interesting choice of word.
I know, but hey, it's what it is. She was a pulpy mess, and now she's hardened.
Rock hard.
Rock hard, yes.
All right. So 8, 8, 8.5. I'm disappointed in you, Mark. I was expecting a little bit higher, so I guess I'm going to go that route. I'm going to give it a 9. I liked it for the most part. I thought the storyline ended well with what ended the storyline. The actual ending left me feeling some sort of way, which is why it dropped down a full point, and it didn't go to twisty at all because of the ending, just because of the open-endedness of it. I wish that we would have gotten a little bit more, but if it would have ended with Kai getting shot, like, I would have been fine with the whole thing. Like, I thought Beverly shooting him was dope. I loved Beverly and Allie together. I love that Allie, found some way to talk to Gloria. How she ended up picking Gloria is the one, who the fuck knows. But everything was really interesting, and I thought it was a fine episode. I thought it was a decent episode. And if you really think about it, the difference between an 8, 8.5, and a 9 really isn't that big of a thing. All right. So now, since it is season finale, time to grade the season. So we are giving the entire season a letter grade. A, B, C, D, F. Pluses and minuses are allowed. And let's spice up the order. So, Priscilla, you can go first. How would you grade the entire season of Cult?
I'd give the entire season probably like, see, this is hard because I don't know whether I want to give it a B minus or a C plus. Like, it's right within that range.
Yeah. To be honest, they're both kind of the same. So if you feel a little bit more positive, give it the B minus. If you feel kind of, give it the C plus.
I'll give it the C plus then.
Okay.
I'll give it the C plus because I was really expecting like something like a lot better for an American Horror Story like season.
All right. So a C plus. Madison, how would you grade the season?
I'm probably going to give it a B. Only because I didn't think it was A, as scary as it should have been, B, as malicious as it should have been.
Really?
Yeah, like, okay, yeah, there's gore, yeah, there's murders, but for like a scare factor,
Okay.
I felt like it could have been so much better. And it wasn't really mysterious, but it wasn't mysterious in like a scary thriller kind of way. Like, it didn't make me jump. It didn't make me like, get on the edge of my seat. It was just kind of like, okay, what's next week's gonna happen? Like, who's gonna die? What's like the newest drama? I don't know. It wasn't like a scary season for me like the first season was. You know what I mean? Like, the first season actually scared me and like stuff. It was interesting like that. But this season was obviously more modern, and what we're dealing with, the scary things are actually other people and the government. So I thought that they did a really good job in working with what's going on in our day-to-day lives and kind of, I guess, like making a bigger deal out of things and showing what could happen or, basically making a big deal out of it. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like they went to the extreme on what's going on in our day-to-day lives. So I think they did a good job on the season. I just think that it could have been a little scarier, a little more thrillery, something like that. Like it didn't feel like American Horror Story, but it was still a good season.
All right. So a C plus and a rock hard B, as Mark would say. I am going to go next, and I'm going to give it an A minus. I really liked the season. I was going back in my mind, and like my Rolodex in my mind, and I was like, was I really negative about like a lot of the episodes? And I know the Valerie Solanas one I really did not like. And I think there was maybe like one other one that I wasn't as positive about it. For the most part, I liked the story. I really loved the acting. I thought everybody did a really great job. Everyone was very strong in their characters. As an actor, like Sarah Paulson is just phenomenal. And the season, she was amazing. Going from how she was as Allie in episode 1 to how she is as Allie in the finale. It's a complete change of the character. It's almost like two different and distinct characters. And Adina Porter continues to be a revelation. Like, why hasn't she been on for more seasons than just 2? She's just fantastic. And this season was an incredible roller coaster ride for Beverly motherfucking Hope. And I mean, everyone else. I mean, of course, like I think we've mentioned it like every single episode, but Evan Peters has been outstanding as Kai and as all the other characters that he played, and he definitely deserves some sort of award, recognition, or at least a nomination for his job on American Horror Story Cult. The negatives, it was not scary at all for me. Like, I'm not scared of any of the phobias. I believe I read online that some of those phobias, if not all of those phobias, are Sarah Paulson's actual phobias. And I thought that was really kind of funny in a sick and twisted kind of way because Ryan Murphy is her friend and she has to do the show and she has some of those phobias. So that's just, it's kind of funny in a sick and twisted way. But I'm not scared of any of those phobias. I don't have any of those, not even the tryptophobia that apparently everybody on Facebook gets freaked out about. I don't have any of those. Like, I am not typically scared of home invasion style movies. Like, that kind of stuff doesn't freak me out. Like, last year, Roanoke was a very creepy season because it had to deal with ghosts and haunted houses and the supernatural. So that season like had, the creepy, foreboding, mysterious factor that I love, which I experienced also with like Murder House and Asylum. This one had like zero scare factor for me, which was disappointing because it's American Horror Story, but I get it, sometimes certain things just might not be scary to you. To be quite honest, Freak Show wasn't that much of a scary season outside of just, the creepiness of Twisty the Clown in the beginning. And even though we had Twisty here, it still, it just wasn't creepy. But that like the lack of the scares and the lack of like a real horror thrillery type of thing for me sort of like knocked it down a little bit. Other than that, I thought it was a well acted and a very well written and a cohesive season. Would I have liked the finale to have not been as open ended? Sure, that also knocked it down a little bit. But for the most part, I thought it was one of the stronger seasons. All right. So C plus, a B, and an A minus. Mark, how would you grade Cult and why?
Fuck it, I'm gonna give it an A plus.
What? Live in your truth and explain.
Wow. Okay.
Because I didn't look at it because me was sometimes like as
You
much horror.
love Valerie Solanas.
No, as much horror that I'll take in, like when somebody's jumping out of a shadow or a ghost or a demon or something that's coming. I guess I'm more like akin to like, yeah, that's horror, but it's not. It's horror, but it doesn't scare me. And what scared me is the fact that American Horror Story Cult, it touched on the fear of everyday life. And I think to me, that's what it scared me. Because, yeah, we didn't get nobody jumping out and we didn't get a Roanoke sort of stereotypical Asian ghost climbing the walls and contortion and all that crap, but we didn't get, a vampire living in a hotel, killing people every time they come in.
Drill dough.
The drill bit demon, you know what I'm saying? We didn't get any of that. We didn't get like Rubber Man or Twisted the Clown or Bloody Face type thing, but we just got America. And that to me is what scared the crap out of me. This show, this season was so timely. It was so on the nose so many times. It's just certain lines, like the line when, help me out, Jeff, Mara Winningham's character, when
Sally.
they were getting ready to, Sally, when she was they were getting ready to kill her, and he was typing out her suicide note, and she said, nobody will ever believe that. He said, of course they will. It's on Facebook. That sent chills down my spine, because that's the society that we live in now, where people tend to, they are so hyped on the fear train. We are in the information age, and but there's so many, but you would know that if you tune into Facebook, if you tune into some of the comment sections, a lot of news websites, it's because we have all this information at our fingertips, and people refuse to utilize it because they have to hang on to their fears and on their ignorance. And I guess it's because I work at the library. I work at my local town library, and I'm in a small town, and I see this shit every day. So that's why I'm giving it an A+. The story was tight because for the previous 2 seasons, people didn't like Hotel because it was all over the place, because you had 5 or 6 different storylines going on and nothing was cohesive enough. And then you had Roanoke, where they tried to do something, a different narrative, and people didn't like that. They thought it was sucked. And everybody keeps going back to Asylum. And I keep saying, well, Asylum had about 5 or 6 different storylines going on too. So, it just seems to me that, or Coven was too camp. It was too women empowerment, and it was just, Freak Show, nobody liked Freak Show. And Murder House was it was just too gratuitous, and it just, like, you can't please anybody because of American Horror Story. But I tend to find something out of each season, and this season, to me, the reason they stripped away the supernatural element, and I'm kind of glad Ryan Murphy actually stuck to that. He really stuck to that whole notion of no super, because why would we need a supernatural when we got an everyday horror story going on in our lives right now with this man in office? And we see all this stuff going on, like Charlottesville, and these mass shootings and all this stuff, and it's scary. And so that's why I looked at it on that tip, and that's why I give it an A+. And I could go on and on about that, but I'm not going to hold anybody else. But that is the reason why I think this is one of the best American Horror Story seasons ever. And I think that a lot of people tuned out because it was a little too real for them. And people don't like to look into the mirror long enough when they see something they don't like. And I think that's what American Horror Story was this year, a big-ass mirror, and it turned a lot of people off. Not saying about this panel. I'm just talking about people who I know who, like, you said Madison earlier, where they were like, "Oh, it's about the election. I'm not gonna watch it," and it was way more than it.
Yeah,
So
because it's about real stuff, like what real people go through, and like, like it's about fear. It's
exactly.
genuinely about fear, and a lot of people were scared last year and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So a lot of people just don't want to watch it because they think too much about it. You know what I mean? Or they don't want to think about it at all. So.
And I can understand that, and I say that's fine and dandy, because sometimes you want to away from reality. You want something to tune you out, but I just feel like American Horror Story is like, yeah, but if we continually tune ourselves out of what's going on, then we're missing the point. We would always be we're heading towards this dark future, and we have to do something about it. If you really are upset about it, then you have to face your fears to conquer it. And I think that's the whole reason why I fell in love with Allie towards the end of the season, because she faced her fears, she conquered them, and now she's ready to take on the world. So I think that it's like Ryan Murphy saying, like, if you just face your fears, we can overcome this dark narrative, this dark period that we're entering in, or that we're in already. So yeah, A+.
Okay, so it's the season finale. Typically, whenever we do a season finale of a TV-oriented podcast in our network, we always discuss, what would we like to see in season... Well, I don't want to say a season number, but like season X, in the next season. The thing with American Horror Story is that this is always a very difficult segment to discuss, because obviously the story changes. So it's not necessarily what we would like to see next season for these characters. It's sort of like, what type of concept or idea would we like to see for next season? So let's discuss that. Does anyone have anything that they would like to see American Horror Story tackle in the next season? There have already been rumors of a Murder House Coven crossover. I believe at the end of last season, at the end of Roanoke, Ryan Murphy stated that in two seasons, so 2 seasons after that, so not this one, because obviously it was Cult. So hypothetically, next season would be a Murder House Coven crossover. Ryan Murphy is known to change his mind a lot. So, you can't take him to the bank when it comes to that sort of thing. But just generally speaking, what would you like to see American Horror Story tackle next season? I don't really want to pick anyone, so does anyone want to go first?
I'll just go ahead. Who was it? Go ahead.
Well, Mark sounded really excited, so...
Go ahead.
No, I was going to just throw out two. I want the Murder House Coven season, and I did hear him say something. He wants, either he or somebody adjacent said they wanted to do an African American Horror Story season. So, which one of the two I'm fine with.
All right. Any other wishes and hopes and dreams for next season?
I was like, I don't know, like there's so many things that could happen, and I feel like with this type of show, the whole, same actors and actresses but different characters, it can go anyway. You know what I mean? It'd be really cool if they did something, I would say like surrounding like one of the world wars. I feel like that could open up a lot of doors there. I don't know, like there's just so much that we could do, like, with history and stuff like that, because even Roanoke, that was like a legit thing and a legit place and everything like that, you know what I mean? So there's so much in history that has happened that they could literally do anything with the show and then twist it in some supernatural horror way. So it would be kind of like, it's endless. And I just hope that it continues and that they choose the right ones to work with, you know what I mean? And it takes a talented writer and actors and actresses to put it together, so.
I want, we've mentioned this before, like ages ago for Scream Queens, and it didn't work out there. But I really want like a summer camp at some point.
Yes, you stole the words out of my mouth.
Summer camp.
That's exactly what I want, and like a throwback to like 80s horror summer
That'd be
camp
hot.
type
That'd
of
be hot.
thing would be fantastic. I don't know how it would work. They would
That'd be
really
really
need
cool.
like a new cast because the majority of like the typical American Horror Story cast, although well, if you think about it, this season they did bring in some younger people, but like usually the cast kind of skews older, and I mean, you know, you need like people that look like they're in their 20s to be like camp counselors, to be quite honest.
Have it be a
So,
writing retreat. Have it be like for like people that are trying to like get their book published or something like that. And
or even an addiction type of
yeah.
camp. That would work too. Yeah, you could have grown people. There you go.
Mhm.
hmm
I like
But
it.
I
Yep,
just want to see a camp at some point.
I agree 100%. That's like my dream as well. Many, many moons ago, I wanted a haunted hotel, and we got Hotel. I believe it was the first season that we did our podcast, which was the Coven year. I said I wanted a hotel, and I always wanted a hotel, and I wanted a summer camp or some sort of camp. So if a camp can come up, that would be amazing. And the only other thing that I want, well, besides Angela Bassett coming back, like acting, not just directing, I really, really, really want Michelle Pfeiffer on American Horror Story.
Keep saying. Keep
Yes,
that up.
I'm
You might get your
every
wish.
season I keep putting that out into the ether. I really want Michelle Pfeiffer. We lost Jessica Lange. No offense to Sarah Paulson, but to get like a like movie star, you know, kind of like how Jessica Lange was, and someone of Michelle Pfeiffer's caliber, like come on and play. Michelle Pfeiffer really doesn't do horror that often, so like to have her on, I think it would be amazing. Like I need some Michelle Pfeiffer on American Horror Story, big time. And we lost Jessica Lange, we lost Kathy Bates, we lost Angela Bassett. So it would be nice to like bring on another movie star, and in my mind, it's always been Michelle Pfeiffer. So come on, Michelle. Ryan, give her a call, please. Help me. All right, so it's the end, y'all. It's the end. We would like to thank everyone for joining us these past 11 episodes. Once again, here's our announcer to remind you on how you can interact with us.
Follow Poppy Chula Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Poppy Chula Radio. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@poppychularadio.com. Are you interested in joining the Poppy Chula Radio team as an on-air personality? Email talent@poppychularadio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Poppy Chula Radio programs by visiting poppychularadio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through Apple Podcasts and Google Play. Just search for Are You Afraid? Called, and subscribe.
Thanks, announcer. My co-hosts, for the final time this season, please wish the listeners a good night.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
Good night, guys.
Thanks for tuning in. From all of us here at Are You Afraid Cult, good night.
I was gonna bring up something. I don't know if Priscilla has went yet. I can't remember.
Priscilla did, so you can
Nope.
go, Mark, and you can continue
Okay.
on.
I was gonna take it back to the whole Circus of Hell theory.
Wait, no, did Priscilla go?
No, I haven't.
Oh, no,
gone.
Priscilla hasn't gone. Oh, okay. Well, Mark, you can go, and then Priscilla will go. So, Mark.
No, I already went. I was gonna hold.
Oh,
this
wait,
to-
now I can't remember
to
the order.
In 2018, like, you know what I mean?
Well, we're in 2017.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Wait, are you people in Canada in 2018?
Yeah, we're already like way ahead of y'all.
Wow.
No, but